Om Namah Shivaya. You are a beautiful sight. Wow. You are a beautiful sight. It is my great joy on behalf of Song of the Morning, the Golden Lotus Board, the Clear Light Community, and the Golden Lotus Yoga Teachers Association to welcome all of you back home. And those of you that are here with us for the first time, welcome home as well. And I want to reach out to those of you that are joining us from your homes or other locations and say what a great, amazing thing it is that we can all be here together from near and afar. And so thank you for being here with us as well. It was in my heart to suggest that we take a moment, just silently, to look around and take each other in, to just take a moment to see each other in this moment when we are here finally back together and welcoming others here for the first time. So let's just do that for a minute and just. Those of you online, just hold us in your heart because you are here with us in ours. This has been quite a year. I've said at times it's been a mysterious year. What to say, the things that we've seen, that we've experienced, that we've gone through, we're still standing. We're better than standing. And I'm so proud of this community, all of us, that have used this last year in all of its difficulties. And I just want to take a moment to acknowledge the losses of the last year, some of which I know that many of you have maybe experienced on many levels. But alongside of that, the grace, the blessing, the solace of Ma, the love of the great ones that have carried us through, shown us new things, dissembled things so we could look at what was really meaningful and then begin to put them back together in a new form. And so let us use this weekend to be together and send so many blessings out into this world, from our hearts to all hearts. So thank you. I want to take a moment to welcome and thank our many friends here, Naren, Schreiner, Lopamudra Bose, Swami Shankarananda, our presenters, our many volunteers, our staff, all of you that are joining us here. What a blessing to be here with all of you. As you drove in, some of you were maybe surprised to see as you drove into the retreat property that open, wide expanse that once was a lake and then was a riverbank, and now it's a construction site. But I want to say that in the theme of divine harmony, which we're here to celebrate this weekend, the project that you're witnessing, somewhat in progress, it's about to really begin in this coming week, is really one about restoring divine harmony to an area of northern lower Michigan and our property that was disrupted for over 100 years. And whenever you block anything, we know in yoga, blockages and backups happen. And so the restoration project that you're witnessing as you come into our property is really the restoration of balance and harmony and good relation. And I was talking to Bob, that I don't see in this moment, I know you're here somewhere beforehand, about how the whole journey from lake to drawdown to removal of a dam to the forging of relationships with so many people that held us at a long distance into a tremendous friendship has been such a teaching in this past 6 years, 10 years, 12 years. And it's really a great joy to be able to share this with you As you drive onto our property, you see those big mounds of dark organic material. They're not even soil, it's like rich humus that has been backing up and waiting to be pulled out, and the river is going to be re-meandered, all kinds of things. So I use this as an invitation to visit our new Golden Lotus tent. It's across the road and across from Matri Mandir. We've put together a space for welcoming you more deeply into Song of the Morning, learning about us, our history, who we are, what we do, meeting our community members. And there is on the table a sign, a description of the restoration project. And you're welcome to stop any of us that are involved and ask. But you might also go, you can not only read about what it all involves, but also there's the actual design of what's going to happen is there. So I welcome you to the Golden Lotus 10, and also to just hold in this weekend of divine harmony all the good blessings we can send to the Pigeon River that we've lovingly called the Gitanjali. And may she be better than ever. So with that, it's my great joy to welcome and to ask you to join me in really thanking Monica Ford, who is the coordinator of this year's YogaFest. And she will say a few words as well.
Thank you, Linda. And yeah, it is fun to stand here and look back at everybody here. Here, I'll recenter for the camera. Yes, so just welcome everybody. It's just been so great to reconnect with people, to meet people. You know, I'm the one sending out all the emails, so I have lots of names in my head, and now I can put faces to them, and that's really beautiful as well. And like Linda was saying, you know, the theme is living in divine harmony, which every year, if you think about it, YogaFest's theme is spirit and nature dancing together, which really is divine harmony, right? And for me, YogaFest is how it is divine harmony is just through connection to the land, to the nature, to each other, to this opportunity to keep learning, to keep teaching, to keep growing together and individually, which is really beautiful. And if you're watching online and you donated, or you're just clicking a button and hopping on, thank you. You get front row spot to the main tent, which is pretty cool. And for everybody, you know, that's behind the camera doing the classes and the workshops, you're looking at the camera, you're together with this online crowd, and you can look at the camera with awe of like, wow, that's 1 to 50 people maybe. Maybe more, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, and then I'll just shift into some coordinator announcements, which are just the biggest thing I wanted to just share, which isn't that big, that hasn't been super communicated, is that there is coffee and tea every morning outside the gift shop. It's donation based, and as well as snacks and beverages sold at the gift shop, just to supplement in between meals. And speaking of meals, dinner was delicious. So thank you, Harmony Collective and Deva, Bali, all the crew that came in and are using our kitchen, and that right there is divine harmony, right? Some of the food is coming from our own garden, thanks to Justine and Jill and Carly this summer, and our community helping out. So it's really a community garden. So yeah, I feel like we could just keep saying divine harmony in a row, and that's all of our speeches tonight, to sum it up. So I will, without further ado, pass it on to everybody's dear friend, Naren K. Schreiner, who is gonna lead us into some beautiful moments.
I know I'm in Michigan when the harmonium is covered with a heavy wool blanket. It is very momentous, I think, to just sit for a moment and take it all in, what's happened before this moment. Since the last YogaFest 2 years ago, and what's still happening. It's not over. I think everyone that I've spoken with over this past year has learned a lot, grown a lot. And the tendency with some, not all, is to hurry up and leave that, or get on with something else. And it's really wonderful to be here and to have those moments of reflection and silence and let it sit and settle a bit and reconnect in a way that maybe we never dreamed of, and in a way that would not have happened were it not for this past year. A deepening, a reckoning, crises in different shapes and forms seems to bring up a lot. And to take advantage of that opportunity, it's hard to call it an opportunity sometimes though, but it's wonderful to be here. Wondrous. And to everyone streaming online, that's also quite wonderful. And a lot of effort has gone into that, by the way, to make that possible. So there's so much effort and love here at Song of the Morning to reach out and to support and serve even one. When Monica said between 1 and 50, I was just as touched in my heart, because that spirit of even one, we'll do this. We'll do this for even one. How beautiful that is. So I like to begin with an invocation. I'll chant a few shlokas in Sanskrit for all of us to feel the divine presence, however that manifests for you. And chanting and music and song is a wonderful way to recenter and to shift our minds. I think we've already had a few hours to bring our consciousness into this place and leave the other things behind. They're waiting for us. So it's okay. You don't have to bring them here. Nothing's going anywhere. It'll all be there when we go back. So I will start with it. Mangalam Gurudevaya Devi Matre Cha Mangalam Mangalam Bhakta Vrindevyo Sarvalokaya Mangalam Vakratunda Mahakaya Koti Surya Samabhrabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Brahmanandam Paramasukhadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamasyadilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshe Bhutam Bhavatitam Triguna Rahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Full of bliss, giving joy transcendent, of higher knowledge, the abode, dual no more, clear as the heaven, known to all as thou art that. He is pure, permanent, unmoving, the everlasting seer of all, far, far beyond qualities and thought. Guru Lord, I bow to thee. A few words about divine harmony. When we spoke about this as a theme, we thought about all the different levels of our life, and the first, most apparent, is divine harmony with one another. Sometimes seems to be the most difficult, and this recent year and a half experience, both on a personal, family, society, country, globe, was a wonderful test. It seems like we all got a report card, and we're just sitting with that right now, how that went. There's different ways of relating. Yoganandaji spoke about how we may relate with someone physically and only physically. It's just body. That's the only thing we have in common. Maybe for family. It may be name, biological. Then another step or another layer would be mind. Like we share things in common. We have like a mental rapport with people. And then there's that relationship. And then there can be also emotional level, feeling level, temperament, personality. And then there's the soul level, where we have some kind of soul affinity. And on the soul level, on that plane of existence, is the greatest potential for diversity in every other level. And what that means is that when we are united with someone else, or we relate with others on a soul level, all other of the levels can be diverse, can be different. They're not necessary. There doesn't have to be a connection on those other levels because there's a connection on a deeper level. And so soul relationship is the most profound unity and often the most diversity. Unity and diversity. And we can look around here and ask, why did we all come here? Was it biological, physical, body? Was it mental, emotional, or spiritual? And so when we have a soul connection, all the other differences, I can't say they don't matter, but they don't take first level. A quote from the Bhagavad Gita that Yoganandaji used to love to quote. He who perceives me everywhere and beholds everything in me never loses sight of me, nor do I lose sight of him. Yo mam pashyati sarvatra sarvam chamayi pashyati tasyaham na pranashyami sachamena pranashyati. One who perceives the divine everywhere and beholds everything in the divine, never loses sight of God, of the divine, nor does God ever lose sight of me. Harmony is also harmony in our own individual harmony of body, mind, and soul. So it's very difficult for us to relate with others if we're not relating with ourselves, if we're not in harmony with ourselves. And yoga also teaches so much about that. Body, mind, and soul. So much of the time we're focused on only one of those or two of those. I'm working on my body right now, or I'm working on my mind right now. So some will focus on spiritual progress and neglect body or mind. So having all three in harmony. And if, like in a triangle, the stability of a triangle or a tripod, if we just removed where this camera is, if we just removed one of them, it falls over. So all three are needed. And yoga always emphasizes body, mind, and soul. And so we're all here at YogaFest with what this festival is about and this place is about, is all three. And that's what we looked for, what Monica was looking for when we were curating the presentations and the balance of the presentations, body, mind, and soul. Another part of divine harmony is the creation, preservation, dissolution of the Trinity, of all creation. And we see that in specifically in Sanatana Dharma, where you have the three aspects of the divine. Vishnu, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, this type. And it's really profound to ponder when we think about our own lives, and even when I just think about the festival itself, the creation of the festival, and then the maintenance of the festival. But what's the dissolution of it, the transformation of it? Oftentimes that's what our culture and our society doesn't look at. It's a simple thing. We love to look at the food, the buffet, but we don't want to see where the trash is. We love to celebrate birth, but we're afraid of death. It's hard to understand. Those in permaculture, like Justine has taught me so much about compost, and that those in permaculture and gardening, the most beautiful part of the garden is the compost and the worms, because that's the life, and from there springs the most beautiful vegetable. And that concept, I think we were faced with, I certainly was, during this past year, the pandemic. In the Bible, in Job 1:21, naked came I out of my mother's womb, and naked shall I return thither. The Lord gave, and the Lord hath taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. It's all part of it. It's one whole. That's the divine harmony too. It has to all happen. The flower has to wilt and fall and wither into the ground in order for the next flower to bloom. With our bodies, with our ego, with everything. And that, in a very practical way, led me to appreciate even more this zero waste initiative of YogaFest and the green team. It's, from society's standpoint, it's not the glory job, right? Trash. But from the cosmic perspective of divine harmony, it is so essential. The what to do with waste. And because our civilization has neglected it, look where we are. The earth is totally out of balance for one reason. We don't know about waste. We forgot about that part of it. So how wonderful in this small way to see all the effort and thought that go into that part of harmony, the third part of the tripod of, yes, the creation, yes, the maintenance, but what to do about the destruction, the waste, the dissolution, and how to transform that. And the last was the divine harmony, the universality of religions, which is something that Paramahansa Yogananda brought, and he was inspired so much by Sri Ramakrishna and by Swami Vivekananda. That concept of universality, of beyond interfaith dialogue, actually a deep unity. And one beautiful story that Sri Ramakrishna used to tell when he in India back in the colonial times, that there would be a pond of water, and that's where everyone would get their water, and there would be different stairs going down, different access points to go into that pond, into that reservoir. And he would say, look at the Muslims. When they go down those steps, they go to fetch, they fill their vessels and they call it pani. And look at the English, British Christians, they go down those steps and they fill their vessels and they call it water. And look at the Portuguese Roman Catholics from Goa, they come and they go down another steps and they fill their vessel and they call it agua. And the Hindu priests come down to fetch their water and they call it jal. And he said then he would say, truth is one, but it's called by many names. In Bengali, he would say, Jato mat, tato pat. As many perspectives, as many paths. And in that spirit, we find so much unity. And that universality, we also celebrate that divine harmony on a profound level. And in the various yogas that also are a part of that. In addition to all the beautiful presentations, we're really, as always, there's such an emphasis here on really that sincere and ardent search for God realization as friend, father, mother, beloved. And so there's elements of worship in here which are very special and I would say that are very unusual in yoga festivals as we know them elsewhere. Worship in song, but also worship in ritual. The temple over there, the Matri Mandir, was years ago, it was expressed a wish to have a temple to Divine Mother. Across the beautiful river, the group from Ypsilanti, Harmony Collective, Deva Madhavadas, they always bring their altar. They worship every morning, and part of their worship is to prepare this food. It's not just a job of food prep. They're all devotees. They're all living a religious, spiritual life, and cooking is a part of that serving. We'll have a sacred fire ceremony as well on Friday night. The lodge, which is the beautiful building up the driveway, that is like a temple or a chapel. In there for decades, meditation and worship and devotion has taken place. And there's shrines all over the land. Yogacharya had built shrines. I don't know how many of them are open, but just ask at the Golden Lotus tent if some of the paths are open. At the end of the path is a shrine. Again, that sense of worship is such a beautiful element in this. And of course of community, and that's where it all seems to come together again, living together and sharing together. So I am also really looking forward to the panel. There's some really wonderful leaders and pioneers, I would say, who are in this present age, in this country, trying to manifest community. But it won't only be discussing large communities like this. Also, how do we live in these times when we can be isolated? And we all know what isolation is now. We have a new definition of isolation. How did you do? Was it okay? What would you have liked more of? We can do that now. Maybe I've certainly heard and felt in my own personal life. We need to be connected. How is technology enough? How can we use technology in the most meaningful way? But how can we be connected and help each other? I've been looking at faces on Zoom for the past year and a half and Facebook profiles. I'm looking at real people, beating hearts. Can we all create a community and keep it going after YogaFest? So let's talk to some individuals who've really specialized in this in different places. That will be the 2-part panel to really leverage these 4 days so that we can really, each one of us, contribute something beautiful and take something home. So that's my short little talk about it. And now we would love to together share some time of chanting and meditating and hear the beautiful wind blow through the trees, the silence, and then we will have a short ceremony afterwards to bless the land and start off the YogaFest officially, even though it's already started. So this, those of you who don't know, I think all of you know, so I'll make it real short, but this wonderful place, Song of the Morning, was founded in 1970 by Yogacharya Black, Oliver Black. And he was born the same year as Paramahansa Yogananda, 1893. And from a young age, he had a desire to know more, and he was very much called to Eastern religion. I had the privilege to go through his old personal library and to find a Patanjali Yoga Sutra book translated in 1888, or a Bhagavad Gita translated in 1890. That's what we do, right? That's what we all started at some point. I want to know more about this. A lot of us look on Google. Good luck. By divine grace, he was led to meet Paramahansa Yogananda in early 1930s. And that bond, that relationship of discipleship, that initiation was lifelong, eternal. And he was guided, inspired by Paramahansa Yogananda to start a place like this. But Paramahansa Yogananda wanted to have, he called them, and in his time, he called them World Brotherhood Colonies back in those days. Communities of divine unity like this. So in 1970, this was started. And so the lineage, you'll see the pictures over there at the Golden Lotus tent. If you want to know more about that beautiful history, please visit. And if you already know the history, please come and look anyway. It's so nice the way it's been set up. And so that lineage of gurus and divine beings is behind all of this. So the way that we all here who follow Paramahansa Yogananda, we always start with a prayer and a chant. And the reason is, he said, a chant awakens our hearts, awakens devotion. And so the chant I would like to sing is, O God Beautiful, which Paramahansa Yogananda sang in 1924. Was it 24 or 26? 26? At Carnegie Hall in New York. In my research, tells me it was the first kirtan in America. 1926. Oh God, beautiful. So we'll sing that. It's a beautiful song. And then we'll go into some silent meditation. The prayer, I will just lead. We don't have to repeat. Just hear the beloved words and follow along in your heart. Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, Friend, Beloved God, Jesus Christ, Bhagavan Krishna, Mahavatar Babaji, Lahiri Mahashaya, Swami Shri Yukteswar, Paramahansa Yogananda, saints and sages of all religions, we humbly bow to you all. May thy love shine forever on the sanctuary of our devotion, and may we be able to awaken thy love in all hearts. Om peace. Amen. O God beautiful, O God beautiful, O God beautiful, O God beautiful. At thy feet, O I do bow. At thy feet, O I do bow. O God beautiful, O God beautiful, O God beautiful, O God beautiful. In the forest thou art green, in the forest thou art green, In the mountain thou art high, in the mountain thou art high. In the river thou art restless, in the river thou art restless. In the ocean thou art brave, in the ocean thou art brave. O God beautiful, O God beautiful, O God beautiful, O God beautiful. At thy feet, O I do bow, at thy feet, O I do bow. O God beautiful, O God beautiful, O God beautiful, O God beautiful. To the serviceful thou art service, to the serviceful thou art service. To the lover thou art love, to the lover thou art love. To the sorrowful thou art sympathy, to the sorrowful thou art sympathy. To the yogi thou art bliss, to the yogi thou art bliss. O God beautiful, O God beautiful, O God beautiful, O God beautiful. At thy feet, O I do bow, at thy feet, O I do bow. O God beautiful, O God beautiful, O God beautiful, O God beautiful. In the forest thou art green, in the forest thou art green. In the mountain thou art high, in the mountain thou art high. In the river thou art restless, in the river thou art restless. In the ocean thou art grave, in the ocean thou art grave. O God beautiful, O God beautiful, O God beautiful, O God beautiful. At thy feet, O I do bow, at thy feet, O I do bow. O God beautiful, O God beautiful, O God beautiful, O God beautiful. To the serviceful thou art service, to the serviceful thou art service. To the lover thou art love, to the lover thou art love. To the sorrowful thou art sympathy, to the sorrowful thou art sympathy. To the yogi thou art bliss, to the yogi thou art bliss. O God beautiful, O God beautiful, O God beautiful, O God beautiful. At thy feet, O I do bow, at thy feet, O I do bow. O God beautiful, O God beautiful, O God beautiful, O God beautiful. At thy feet, O I do bow, at thy feet, O I do bow. O God beautiful, 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 O God beautiful. He Hari Sundar, 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 He Hari Sundar. Oh God beautiful, 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 In this piece of meditation, let us ponder these words of Paramahansa Yogananda on his experience of unity and divine love. When we have fellowship with the Divine Spirit, and through Spirit we have true fellowship with all, we find no differences in race, class, or creed. I hope you will all remember this fellowship, this divine friendship with all truth-seeking souls, and practice it with one another. Religion is far more than morality. It is communion with the Divine Spirit. Feel the divine love of Spirit. Then in every person you will see the face of that divine light, the light of love which is in all. You will find a magic living relationship uniting the trees, the sky, the stars, all people and all living things, and you will feel a oneness with them. This is the code of divine love. And let us expand our awareness and our heart's love to include all of those who are not present with us, our loved ones, family, our friends, and particularly those who are in need of divine healing of body or mind or spirit. And as love knows no boundaries, love can also reach those who have already left this plane. Let us think of those souls who we lost recently in this past year or two. Send them our love. Let us expand beyond our loved ones to those we may not know, but who are our earth family. We all live on this earth together. We are all family, brothers, sisters, made of the same essence, the same divine image. Even our enemies, even those who are in the darkest of ignorance, nevertheless, deep in that darkness is the soul. Visualizing the divine light pervading all creation, just like we can hear the wind blowing across the land, sweeping across the entire state. This wind blows across the whole earth. And so the light, the healing light, can bless all beings. Let us chant Om 3 times for that divine light to flow and bless healing of body, mind, and soul to all beings on this earth. With hands upraised, let us chant Om. And this closing prayer, this universal prayer in Sanskrit, may all beings be centered in their true divine self. May all beings be peaceful. May all beings be fulfilled and complete and whole. May all beings be blessed. Om Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. And this little ceremony, this little ritual is a wonderful way to also to initiate these next few days. We have some rose petals in little baskets that a couple of our friends will be passing out. Please take just a few. That we don't have many. Roses are quite precious these days. So just a few rose petals, and please hold it in your right hand. And there is something called a sankalpa. A sankalpa is like, it can be as simple as a wish or a desire, but it can also be like an intention or a resolve. And so together we will state at this moment, with holding these roses, we will declare our resolve, or our wish, our intention for these next 3 days of YogaFest. I'm really missing the children right now. They would be running around with baskets, our dear friends. They were little 2 years ago. I know when I see them next year, they won't be our little friends anymore. They're probably, but so many, and maybe some are watching now live stream, but the, the, the young bodies and old souls, they would be a big part of this ceremony, leading us, passing out the flowers, but also leading our procession around the river. It's always very special. So I'm thinking of all of them and looking forward to seeing them next year. If someone does not have roses, please raise your hand so our friends can spot you. Thank you. Okay. Is that in the back? Do you? Oh, okay. So holding these roses close to your heart, part of the sankalpa is to name the place where we are, the time where we are. But it's done according to the ancient ways and the Vedic ways, which is from the universal, the largest scale, down to the most minute scale, which is very powerful, very expansive, and very unifying. So I have translated the Sanskrit mantras, not myself, but this is adapted. I'm not a Sanskrit scholar. Invoking the sacred mantras of Om Krim Aim Vishnuram Tat Sat, among the endless universes created and ruled by the will of the Almighty Vishnu, we are here in our universe, on planet Mother Earth, on the island of North America, to the west of Mount Meru, in the second half of the day of Brahma, during the age of the white boar Varaha, when the seventh Manu Vaivashvata is ruling, in the first foot of the 28th Kali Yuga of the larger cycle, and a smaller cycle, Dwapara Yuga. On this auspicious time and place in the land called America, in the region of Michigan, in the township of Vanderbilt, near the banks of the Great Lake, Michigan, and the other Great Lakes, alongside the Pigeon River, affectionately named Gitanjali, in the Golden Lotus Song of the Morning Retreat and Community, during the month of Shravan, on the 6th day of the waning phase of the moon, at the holy time of dusk. And now, in this moment, you can state your name. And your resolve, your intention for these next days. And while you meditate on that intention and visualize it, I will chant the mantras in the Sanskrit. Om Krim Vishnuram Tat Sat Om Shrimad Bhagavato Mahapurushasya Vishnurujjaya Pravartamane Adhyasmin Brahmande Bhuloke Jambudvipe Shri Brahmane Dvitiya Paradhe Shri Svetavaraha Kalpe Vivashvatamanvatare Ashtavimshatitame Juge Chatushtaye Atra Kali Juge Pratamacharane Shri Ramakrishna Avatare Shalivahana Shake Vartamane Evam Guna Visheshana Vishishtayam Shubhatitav Amerika Deshe Michigan Nagare Vanderbilt Pure Michigan Sarovare Gitanjali Nade Song of the Morning Ashrame Shravanamase Krishna Pakshe Shashtiti Tau Shrimat Kamalakantanamne Shokalin Gotre Swati Nakshatre Shri Paramamsa Yogananda Udisya Satguru Prityartham Parameshwara Parameshwari Prityartham. Bhakti Jnana Varagya Siddhartam Yatah Shakti Sandhyakala Yogamela Mangalam Karmaham Garishyami. The name of the Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, great Gurus, God and Goddess, Father, Mother. May our resolves and our sankalpa be blessed. May devotion, wisdom, non-attachment, spiritual progress and joy be bestowed upon us as we begin this mela, this gathering, this yoga fest. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Now we will walk a little bit with these rose petals to offer them into the river, and that will be like the river will take our prayers, our sankalpa on the way. Now we used to go all the way around with the children, blowing the conch and chanting spirit and nature. If you would like to do this, please raise your hand and say, yay. Excellent. That's enough. So the song, Spirit and Nature Dancing Together, Victory to Spirit, Victory to Nature, Radhe 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 Govinda Jai. We will sing that, and let's walk at a good pace. We have to work off the delicious meal. Walk at a good pace, and by going around, we're also kind of blessing the whole space with our intention, our resolve, chanting this beautiful chant, and then we will come all the way around to the temple there by the river, and we will offer our flowers there.